How many?
727.
It's very good. 727. That's impressive.
727.
Lubo, I like Mayfair, I like Michelin stars, and I like the Connaught Hotel cocktail.
Just working that out at the moment. 300 million. 300.
Johnny's your man.
11 or £12 a share, probably something like that.
Johnny's your man.
You get about £9 grand, Lubo. It's enough to pay for my Viva Street exploits. I promise you for an evening, mate. We're fine.
That would just about pay for a night out with you on the booze, wouldn't it, Sean?
Just about. And Hull Spurs, big up to you. He says Aramco Saudis on the grapevine. I've heard. Let's use that as the catalyst. Thank you very much, Hull Spurs. Let's use that as the catalyst to quickly sort of walk into who these two people are. So the first name is obviously the Staveley Group. We know about them. They have obviously also came out this evening, and said that there's no intention to make a full offer. And the other group is Firehawk Holdings,
Wingfi and G,
and a doctor whose name escapes me off the top of my head. Who they are both obviously from Hong Kong or Chinese ancestry, but massive in-plays into American private equity, American trusts, American hedge funds, all that sort of stuff. But the main story, the main connection between those two is through Triller. So Triller is the social media network, if you're unfamiliar, guys, who try to take on TikTok or Musical.ly in its initial fashion and failed. These days, they're more of a little bro to DAZN. They try to get involved with live streaming of things like bare knuckle fights. I think they only had a $50 million revenue last year, so they're very, very small fry. But these two are not the only two, but they're the two of the talk at the moment. They have the latter, this Chinese consortium, haven't yet come out and said that they're not going to make a formal bid. So we could still have a takeover offer from them, but we won't have it from the Staveley consortium. What are your thoughts, guys, on the Chinese consortium and how that might look?
Triller do a division football, bare knuckle fighting, obviously niche sports, niche football. But I just wonder whether these are the guys that are putting a consortium together to buy the club. I mean, for me, the play, if it's not oil money from Saudi or Qatar, it certainly makes sense to me from an NFL point of view that we spoke about this before. I'm a huge NFL fan, probably in the minority in the Spurs fan base, but I see the fact that emerging an NFL franchise in America with an English football team, with the proviso of trying to acquire a poor franchise. I think it's the Panthers are still worth 5.8 billion. The average franchise in America is worth 8 billion. I think we said, was that right, Sean? About 8 billion. The average.
Cardinals is the least, is the lowest value. But yeah, the average between
8 billion. So considerably more than the 3.5 to 4 billion that Spurs were worth. And if you look at someone like Fenway Estates, Fenway Sports, should I say, Fenway Estates, they have been a success in multiple sports in America and, of course, in this country. And I would really like to see someone with the ambition of someone like Fenway, if they are going to come in from America, rather than just a private equity company like a Clear Lake Capital, who's just going to come in and, look to piss around with our football club. I like someone with the ambition who wants to come over here and add it to their portfolio. We saw the Woody Johnson, the owner of the New York Jets, take a 40% stake in Crystal Palace. But I think Spurs are a whole different ball game, and I really would like to see someone from America. If it has to be American, I would prefer to see that than private equity. I don't want to see leverage buyout like from the Glazers. Don't want to ever see that at our club. I don't know what you guys think, but leverage buyout is a massive no-no for me.
Well, unless it's a Fenway type operation where you've got people who are already in the sporting business.
Correct.
For me, based on what I've heard over the last few days, it's got to be Ian King.
Are you going on the march? He's starting his own.
Silence. Silence. Look at this. I said Ian King, and there's silence. Sean's gone for it. Look.
Well, I'm in transition at the moment, mate. I'm not sure how I feel about this whole ENIC thing. Their first demonstrations, this new vision of whatever they're trying to put out there.
That will be funny. That will be
it.
funny. If I'm ENIC in and you're ENIC out, and we're round on here.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey.
Yeah, look, with regards to the American side though, Lube, like for me, like I echo what Johnny's saying. Like there's a hell of a lot of value if you were an American investor that has that sort of 5-10 year horizon when they look at what's likely to happen with regards. I think they've got 8 overseas games this year, American and the NFL. I think they're in Brazil as well as London and elsewhere as well. Like it's a global sport that's played in one country. That's going to change. And I think it's also going to change. You know, Barcelona have recently got approval for their first game to be played in Florida. That's going to be the slippery slope that's going to bring all of these things to be, you know, commonplace. And just look at the revenues that are being generated by those NFL teams and then compare them to the valuations. And there is a massive valuation gap on the revenues that are similar to what Tottenham Hotspur generates, 600 million quid, 580, whatever. Those clubs in the NFL ecosystem that generate 580 million pounds worth of revenue, they're still valued at $7-8 billion, right? So, you know, to me, I think if you're an American, you could look at Tottenham, you could look at the ecosystem that we're building, you could look at the white webs, the NFL, all of that stuff, and easily figure out the multiplier to get their valuation in 10 years' time from 3.5 or whatever it would cost to buy them to sort of like, you know, 10, 11 billion, especially when you get those media naming rights deals that might be Netflix for sport, all of those kickers and those, you know, amplifiers in the future that are not around the court, that are not too far away. To me, I think that whilst you're filtering out a lot of people at 3.5 billion, there's still a lot of people that might see the project and think, I'm happy to get involved. Whether or not it's this Chinese consortium, I'm not convinced. What I've seen of these guys, I don't think they've got, if we think that Daniel Levy has taken Tottenham as far as he can, are we really looking for bigger and better by getting on board with someone who's running Triller? I'm not sure.
No, listen, I'd like to see a joint buyout between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. You know, make Tottenham great again. That would be good.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
Can I say, Johnny?
Sorry, wasn't
if Elon Musk,
great video by Michael Jackson?
Wait, if Elon Musk bought Tottenham, I'll tell you one thing that would be amazing.
The Tesla Dome?
No, the Twitter X, the X Stadium.
The X Stadium. How amazing, right? Twitter's already toxic for Spurs fans. Imagine Elon now weighing in on Twitter for Spurs. Mate, it'd be fucking hilarious. He'd be dropping weekly tweets like looking forward to putting Kroenke back in his box and dear Spurs fans, just letting you know my legal team is looking into whether or not we can move Arsenal back to South London. Just imagine the shithousery we'd get on Twitter. I think it'd be amazing.
Can't wait till we sign Morgan Gibbs-White. Marinakis who?
Yeah. I've got dirt on Marinakis. Don't worry, Gibbs-White's joining.
I mean, listen, joking aside, I was joking obviously about Donald Trump, although those in the chat seem to take him very seriously.
Johnny, would you take Elon?
Listen, Elon, if he came in, he'd probably do something ludicrous, though, unfortunately. He's just been offered a massive deal to go back to Tesla. So I'm not sure if he's got time to run a football club. But I'm definitely not for any leverage buyout, okay? I don't want to see any leverage buyout our football club, using this football club as a cash cow, i.e. the Glazers. I don't want to see a Clear Lake Capital. I don't want to see any of that. I'd like to see, as I said, if it's going to be an American buyer, someone with a sports background or sports ownership background or the oil backing. I'm actually excited for the next 4 or 5 years. I actually think that the club really has now got the opportunity to kick on.
I was listening on Radio 5 a few weeks ago, and they had a financial guy on, and they were talking about the Glazers and Man United. And the guy was saying, I don't know how true these figures are, but the guy was saying that for the money that the Glazers have pulled out of United and put them into debt, United are paying £30 million a year in interest.
Yeah, and they've taken out over £1 billion quid in dividends.
Yeah,
it sounds like a UK government.
Yeah, listen, they could have put holes, they could have fixed the stadium, they could have built a proper stadium. And let me tell you, Jim Ratcliffe, who thinks he's going to build this 100,000 seater stadium with government funding, get real, mate. They can't even fund the chocolate box. Look, at the end of the day, the cost of that stadium would be 2 billion plus. There are already hundreds and hundreds of million in.
Johnny, more than that, Johnny. More than that.
Yeah. It's I mean, I was there last time. There's holes, the rain coming through the roof. They have built a new training ground, but let's be serious, they need a new stadium. I just don't want to go through what Man United have gone. Not with, obviously, I'd like to go through what they've done, winning trophies, but we don't want owners like this. And this would be a typical example of be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Sean, can I just say for this, right? I don't care where the money comes from for the owners. Football isn't clean and football isn't ethical when it comes to the owners and their backgrounds and their finances. So that doesn't bother me. But what I do want is an ownership that puts football first. I'm happy for them to make their money. I'm happy for them to take profit. But I want them to put football first and balance business and football more so than what I believe we are, which is more corporate than business. More corporate than football.
In accountable and measurable and specific ways.
I think what Liverpool have done. I think what Liverpool have done. Sure, I think what Liverpool have done with their ownership is a really good example. The way they've gone about it, I think that is a really great way of doing it. What I agree with Johnny.
How have they gone about it? Just can you give me some specifics?
They've built a stand. They've done it bit by bit over the period of time. You know, they've invested like 150, 200 million on a new stand, and then they've built another stand.
I'll tell you what they've done. I'll tell you what they've done. What they've done is they've recruited the right personnel to do the football work, the scouting, the data analytics, the managing, and they've trusted them to make the footballing decisions as opposed to too much interference from a chairman or a board that want to make decisions that involve the football. They've trusted the people that they've hired to do the football work, and it's paid dividends, and they've backed it. They've backed it when they've been in the position to back it. What I don't want, and I agree with Johnny, is an ownership like the Glazers that come in, straddle us with debt so that they can purchase the club, then struggle to pay that debt, and then take dividends out of the club whilst they can't afford to pay the canteen lady.
Oh, my God.
I don't want any of that shit because we will end up in a mess.
The Liverpool example. So is all you want. So what we're doing currently is absolutely fine. It's just whoever it is, whoever's the representative. No, I'm saying whatever we're doing with regards the ability to generate money, because you didn't mention anything about money generation from Liverpool. You basically said what they're doing, what that looks like, that's so successful. And again, it's easy to reverse engineer it and say they're successful, therefore it works. What have they done? But all you said was just employ the right people and trust them.
What I just said was to focus on the football. Hold on. I see what Sean's trying to do there. I'm focusing.
I'm just trying to understand your point. You said. I said, what is it? The way you worded it was if.
But the way you worded it was if I'm just ignore the money side of it. I'm not. What Liverpool have done successfully is they have focused on the football stuff and allowed the football people to make the football decisions. Liverpool, when it comes to business, are in a slightly better position than us on the basis that their global fan base is so fucking huge. They generate income globally that we can't do because we're not that size club. But the reason they've got that size fan base is because they win the trophies. That's why they've got that size. Man United are in the same position. Their global fan base is massive. Massive.
Sorry, just quickly to clarify, their outperformance in revenue is because of their consistent, their merit money and their Champions League money, and a couple of things from sponsors specific to that. It's not because of their fan base. It's not because they outsell us in commercial. It's because of their consistent approach to being first or second, which gets them an extra, 10 million, 15 million quid over people that finish 6th or 7th. Their revenue is about 80 million more than us, isn't it?
Look at the money. Sure. Look at the money that they have brought in on outgoings, transfer outgoings this summer.
Right,
a fortune because their recruitment's good. Luis Diaz comes in for
that's aided by the draw that they have, right? That the brand they have. That when they pick up the phone, every player doesn't need to think about it. They're going there if Liverpool want them. Apart from with Real Madrid, the exception.
But Sean,
go on.
Sean, you've still got to identify the right players, and they're doing that.
So it comes down, yeah. So what you want from our ownership is essentially just better talent ID, things that are happening. With regards,
I want the football people to be in charge of the football decisions. That's what I want.
That's what's happening now with Vinay and whoever the DOS.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. We haven't seen it fully in action. If Thomas Frank gets sacked in 2 years, it's the same shit. Liverpool's genuine. For me, the last 10, 12 years, they poached some of the best talent from Spurs to do the data analytics at their club, and it paid dividends. They stuck with Klopp for 5 years when he was winning nothing. Klopp won nothing for 5 years, and they stuck with him. We don't do that. We just don't do it enough. We get rid of the managers. We chop and change way too much.
Can't believe the game Israel versus Italy, Lube. Unbelievable. Italy were 4-2 up. 4-2 up. With 2 minutes to go, it went 4-4, and then they scored in the 91st minute to make it 5-4. Italy are dog shit at the moment. It must be.
Sean, but by the way, I've said this many times before, okay? The money Spurs have spent the last 5-6 years is unacceptable for the squad that we've got. We have been one of the biggest spenders, and this is where I'll give credit to Enoch and Levy. We have spent fucking big money, man. We really have. When people say, oh, we don't spend enough, we spend. The problem is with Spurs, it's two things. One, do we pay, Luba, let me finish before you jump in. I know you want to speak as well. Do we pay enough wages to entice the slightly better caliber players to come? I'd say probably not. And when we spend money, we spend it badly way too often, regardless of manager. 6, 7 different managers, the money hasn't been spent right, which says the scouting, the recruitment team, the restrictions put on what type of player must come in, it doesn't work. And this is why football people need to be employed and just let them get on with it.
So who do you? So let's sort of play that one out. So Vinay is currently in charge. He said today it's him that's running the show. Charrington stepping back, Levy's gone. So Vinay's in charge at the moment, as it stands. His number 2 is Johan Lang.
Yeah.
We don't know whether or not Paratici's coming back to be in charge in a more full-time capacity.
No serious football club.
Who do you want to give the keys of the kingdom to all of the footballing decisions to?
What I wanted was for Ralph Ragniak to become the director of football and for him to build the footballing side of the business.
Okay, but he's not available right now.
Okay, everyone's got a price. What I don't want is for people to think, oh, yeah, it's all great now whilst Lange is still at this club. We're not serious if Lange is at this club. He's not a serious guy.
You can't be serious. You can't be serious.
Lange has to be moved out at some point. He can't stay.
I mean, you look at Man United, it's not about spending money. It's never been about just spending money. It's about spending the money on the right players. Look at Man United, Højlund, Sancho, Onana, I mean, Casemiro, Anthony. I mean, like Jadon Sancho. I mean, the amount of money that they have thrown down that toilet is incredible, and they just have not got it right. What we're asking for is that yes, we do spend the money in comparison to others, but we're talking about the recruitment. The recruitment is crucial, absolutely crucial. And
are we all as a fan base going to agree on who that person is?
Well, no, not always, Sean. I mean, there is a rarity. For example, Eze was probably a rarity in the sense that most of the fan base were in agreement that's a player they'd like to see at the club. But you're right. There's always a division about who is the right player or the right striker. I mean, I'm a fan of Kolo Muani. A lot of people said dog shit. A lot of people, you and I were big fans of Adamara Lukman. A lot of people said, why would you want him at the club? So there's always the division. But if we were to hit and, listen, there's universal approval for Xavi Simons, but, Xavi Simons was on the bench for Holland. If he was this iconic player would he not be starting for Holland? You know, I think we've already overhyped him and expecting like him to hit the ground running and absolutely smash it from the off.
Johnny, isn't the problem, mate, that like it's a reverse engineering thing, right? It's revisionist. Like the correct recruitment is only celebrated after the fact if the players that are bought turn out to be successful.
I don't disagree with you, but like we said,
they failed too often.
Not only have Man United spent ridiculous sums of money, they haven't learnt their lessons. They've just spent 85 million on Sesko. They paid over the odds for Brian Mbeumo. I don't say that Brian Mbeumo is a bad player, but he's a good player. But paying over £70 million, I think is nonsense, really. And the same for. I'm a massive fan of Matheus Cunha. He's looking like a bargain at 60.
Johnny, would you rather pay 70 million for Mbeumo or 60 million for Solanke or Richarlison?
No, 100%. I agree with you. I agree with you.
That's
65 million for Solanke. I was praying we never signed Solanke. It was one of the worst signings we've ever made. That's my opinion.
That was Ange, wasn't it? That was his choice.
Yeah, and Conte was Richarlison, and Poch was what's his name? Played in midfield. We got him from Newcastle. I forgot his name. Sissoko. Mate, it happens with every manager at Spurs because the recruitment process is it's not one geared up for footballing success in this world.
Oh my God! It finished 5-5. Guess who scored?
Go on, Solomon.
Solomon.
5th goal. There you go.
Amazing.
Oh, hang on. Is it just someone's pissing me about? I think someone's pissing me about. It's 5-4 to Italy. It must be Ange must be the manager of Israel, I think. Where do we think he's going to go? Are we going to see him in the Premier League, Ange? What do you reckon?
I want Arteta. That's what I want.
You know my friend that I spoke about earlier, the hotel guy.
Yeah, he's come back.
He flew back from Greece yesterday, and guess who was on the plane in front of him?
Ange.
Yeah. He's a gooner, by the way, my mate. He spoke to Ange as well, and he said he's a top bloke. He said he's genuinely a top bloke. He was playing solitaire on his iPad all the way home. He was looking at him. He didn't ask him about leave your Spurs because he's not a good Spurs fan. I wish he did.
Training. What are you talking? He played solitaire in his office while everyone else was training. That's why we lost 22 games.
Luke, I want to give you the.
Ange is currently in the UK, though. That's my point. He's back in the UK, so maybe he's looking.
I think he'll end up at Forest or West Ham. Personally.
Bye, Nuno.
Luke, I want to give you the first dibs on this one. Harry Kane spoke today, there was noise coming out of Germany that Harry Kane is going to leave Bayern Munich before the end of his contract, which essentially means it will probably be in the summer or the following January. Not this January, probably too soon. You've been pushing for this story for the last 2 years, mate. Do you want to? Do you think it's plausible? And would you take him at 34 years old?
Well, I'll refresh everyone's memory. I sat the Spurs out mile last October. Right, guys sat next to me who I used to see at half time through a mutual friend, and this chap that was sat next to me a few years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, was telling everybody that Bale was coming back on a loan for a year. And what happens? We all laughed at him. Bale came back for the year during COVID. So he sat down and said, "How are you doing, Howard?" He said, "You all took the piss, didn't you? You took the piss out of me. You're going to apologise about Bale." I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Howard. We all took the piss. You were right." He said, "Well, I've got some more news for you from the same ITK." He said, "Harry's coming back, and it's either going to be this coming January or next summer." He says, "You're not laughing now. You're not going to call me a bullshitter now." And I said, "Fair enough. If you got Bale right and it's coming from the same guy, then so based on my previous experience with him as an ITK,
Jeff,
you got Bale right."
Jack.
No, it's not Jeff. It's not Jeff.
Son of Jeff.
Chap called Howard. And Howard, if you're watching, there you go. I've given you a name check. You reckon Chopper told you? Chopper told you that Kane's coming back. There we go.
I'll tell you what.
It will come back with Daniel Levy not here.
In terms of fact, hang on. In terms of facts, these are the reasons why he could come back. Number one, he wants to be the leading goal scorer in the Premier League. Number two,
One minute, Johnny. Lubo's doing his political. What's it called?
Number
What they call it? Manifesto. Manifesto.
Number two, Levy's gone. Number three, look at the other Premier League clubs. You know, the big clubs. Chelsea have just bought centre forwards. Liverpool got Ekitike and Isak. So take out Liverpool, Chelsea. Arsenal got Gyökeres. City have got Haaland. And who's the other one? Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, City.
Man United have just
bought Sesko.
And then
so we are the biggest club for him to come back to.
All right. Well, I believe he's going to go to Barcelona and follow Lewandowski. That's my belief. I believe he's always wanted to play for Barcelona, and I think that's where he will go straight after, because he'll be able to play in Spain probably for at least another 2 or 3 years. And
I think he wants that record, Johnny. I mean, listen, Bale replaced Bale, Eriksen replaced Eriksen. Why not Kane replacing Kane?
No, it's not out the realms of possibility, but I still think he'll go to Barcelona.
Eriksen replaced Eriksen when?
Yeah.
He never came back when he left.
He didn't come back.
No.
Everyone was saying Eriksen would replace Eriksen. I thought he didn't come back for a short time.
Lubo, you've lost the plot.
I've lost the plot tonight. Lost the plot.
Going back to Man United.
Yes, he did. He did.
Bale returned. Who else returned? Did anyone ever return to Spurs?
Anybody else returned?
Klinsmann came back once, didn't he? Klinsmann came back.
A long time ago.
Klinsmann came back.
Yeah,
he came back to save us from relegation, didn't he?
Ben Davies won't leave.
Sheringham,
did he come back for a bit? I can't remember.
No,
I think that's it.
I'll tell you who's coming back. Daniel Levy.
Guys, can I ask this question? This isn't me trying to wind up or joke. Is there a realistic possibility of a Daniel Levy-led consortium that buys out the percentage of ENIC shares that Joe Lewis owns, and that consortium takes over Spurs? I'm not mucking around here, because I was playing this through my head yesterday. I can see that as a possibility.
Daniel Levy taking out ENIC.
Well, Joe Lewis's share of ENIC.
Guess who's back?
He can't negotiate on behalf of ENIC. Is he going to be able to negotiate against ENIC? I can't see that happening. Be good, though. Be good fun to see it.
But, okay, whatever the ins and outs of that agreement working, is there a world where Daniel Levy puts together a consortium and buys Tottenham Hotspur?
Yeah,
and uses his son, who's on the board of Tavistock, to get dirt on Joe Lewis and blackmail them into agreeing to terms?
Never in a million years. Never in a million years.
Guys, please stop talking about all the people in the chat and everyone. Stop talking about about Joe Lewis's children coming like they're fucking 20 years of age. As I said, they're 62 and a 60, right? There ain't no spring chickens that are going to pop along and suddenly rejuvenate the club. They've never been in sport in their entire lives.
Johnny, the fact that they're turning up at the West Ham game, mate. I don't want to get back onto the previous rehashed story, but like, isn't that just another piss take? Like, we're here to change things up. We're going to do what Daddy never did. We're going to be at the West Ham game. Like, what are we doing here? Exactly. Honestly, I think it's a little bit embarrassing.
She was on the tour. Did you not see all of the clips?
Was she?
Viv was on tour.
Really?
She was on tour.
I didn't see that.
Can I say?
Hang on, Vinny said. If Vinny said it, must be true. Vinny said
he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
If Levy in a consortium buys out Spurs, I will literally feel so ill. I don't know whether or not I could do this ever again. This whole Spurs.
Viv, my chairman.
My chairman.
Chairman Viv.
Could you imagine from Levy out to Levy gone to Levy's back? Fucking hell. Fuck my life.
Genuine question for the Levy outers. If this January is a shit show window, who do you blame?
Everyone.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be a good window, though, is it?
No, it is. January. No, January we're going to spend the money. Listen, Sean and I said we'd spend the money. We'd buy proper players. The
problem is, Johnny. Champions League's still going on because it doesn't end to the end of January now. So who's going to want to do business with Champions League? I think it's difficult. I really do. They've changed the Champions League format. Normally it ended at Christmas. Now it goes into January. I think that's a problem.
Listen, I personally think that Daniel has hired Mossad and the team to release Morgan Gibbs-White's dog that's been held captive by Marinakis, and we bring in Morgan Gibbs-White. I think we'll sign a couple of decent players. I think we'll have a shock. I still think Savinho's a possibility if he doesn't play Champions League football. If he doesn't play Champions League football, I would still say that's a possibility.
The way Man City are going, let's see if Pep's still there come January.
Yeah, could you imagine if Ange was the manager?
Mate, he'll win a trophy next season.
Who will?
Ange with Man City.
Ange with Man City. He'd probably get them relegated. Now that would be something, wouldn't it?
Relegated.
No. He's never been relegated. Ange has never been relegated. He's never been relegated ever.
What's your thoughts on the have you seen the story about the ATP? The third-party transactions has been sort of cleared up today, that they've settled out of court, whatever, and they've shut down any particular.
Joke. What a fucking joke, man. What an absolute joke. This is what I'm saying to you. Football, forget ethics and morals and where the money comes from. Football is done. They've bought out and they've paid off and silenced everyone. If that doesn't tell you, stop being ethical and moral about our owners, whoever they are, there you go. There you go.
No, listen, it's after the horse is bolted again, Sean. Look, we do know, we've spoken about it many, many times on Football Link about the loans that Arsenal have been getting from the Cronkies at almost 0%. That a loan that no one else could get from a banking facility, which gives Arsenal a huge, huge advantage. These loopholes should be shut down, just the same as City's loopholes, just the same as Chelsea's loopholes of selling the football team to themselves, the women's football team to themselves, the hotel to themselves, signing players to Blueco Company and sending them off to Strasbourg. How many players went to Strasbourg from Chelsea this season? Was it 9? I've lost count. The whole thing's a farce, right? And unless someone clamps down on it and the body, the Premier League, do something about it.
I don't want to though, Johnny.
They don't. There's no appetite.
They had
the
chance to in May, and they said, "No, there's no appetite." Which is
so
a story I talked about for months. I was like, it doesn't matter if all you need is one more dissenter, and then suddenly the minimum or the minimum amount of people that vote for a change is irrelevant. And it got this particular one that happened in May or whatever it was, early June. It didn't even get to the vote, Johnny, because there's absolutely no appetite for these owners to change PSR.
So Daniel is a dinosaur. This is my whole point. Daniel was the dinosaur. He was the guy pissing in the wind, right? Trying to stink like Ange, clinging to that tactic. You know, he's going to die on that hill. These are my tactics. And Daniel's going to die on the hill of FFP and PSR while no one else is abiding by those rules. People are trying to circumvent those rules. And he was living with them in the hope that somehow or other, one day that these rules would be fulfilled. And he was being naive. I would say that's one of his failings, this naive belief that FFP and PSR would one day become a thing. And we've seen that it
has become a thing.
Well, there are ways to circumvent it, Sean, sure. And you've seen the ones who have managed to do that successfully.
More so PSR than FFP, I'd say.
Yeah. But they've
listen, we got the V team with us now. Viv and Vinay. We'll be fine, don't you worry.
My cousin Vivi.
Hey, yeah, Vivi.
Sorry, Sean, I thought we were talking about all the charges now gone away. I thought that's what
not the 115 charges, just the one that there was the APTs, the associated party transactions that basically they got in trouble for. They tried to put a commercial deal through, it got blocked a couple of years ago. They then took that to court, took the Premier League to court. They won the appeal, but the Premier League's decision was Manchester City's argument was you can't stop us from getting sponsorships from associated parties at whatever price we want. It's against the laws of business generally, to which they won. And then on top of that, they said, by the way, also, if you're going to what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're going to hold us to that account, then you should also be throwing the same mud towards those clubs that take loans at 0 or near 0 interest rates. And the Premier League turned around initially in their first finding and said, you're absolutely right. There is no difference between APT amplified sponsorships and the benefit of having these loans. But rather than turning around and saying neither should happen, they initially turned around and said actually both should happen, which makes a mockery of the entire thing. And so now they've got this settlement now, which basically says that the Manchester City recognise that the rules are legit. They're not going to challenge them anymore, but they've also settled out of court so they can go ahead and move forward with that amplified sponsorship deal. So more of the same, more of the same, like 2-tier system of.
Mate, Johnny's right. Johnny's right. Levy was hoping that the world would make sense of its errors and come together and have a fair playing field for football clubs. But the reality is it's not going to fucking happen because business has become so prominent in football now. It's only going in one direction, that you either go with it or good night. And that's it. That's it.
It's all right.
I think Mashing Joe's had hit nail on in the head. If they ever made a movie about Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, Lubo would be perfect casting to play Daniel Levy. I think.
Who would everyone else be? I'd be Nuno. I'd have to be Nuno.
You imagine that? You'd love that, wouldn't you? You'd love that.
Sean would be Ange.
Hold on. Sean could be.
Johnny's got a bit of what's his name? It was that manager we had. Was it Houston? Went to Brighton. What's his name?
Paul Barber. No, Sean could be Billy T for change for Tottenham. That would suit you there.
No, he looks nothing like Billy T.
You got Billy T. Doesn't look anything like Billy T. Doesn't like anything.
What are you saying? I do look a little bit like Ange. What are we doing here?
You said it. You said it.
Probably a compliment, to be entirely honest, for me.
Have we got any more super chats, Sean?
Yeah, a couple more, and then we'll round off. I think if that's okay, guys. We've got a few minutes before we have to break the 2-hour mark. Finn McMullen has said 19 more sleeps until you reunite with Helga, Sean. Bodo away. Butler, the Viva Street demon. Less of that. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man. Johnny, we still haven't got Bodo sorted. We need to speak about that. And by the way, I've got a couple of people that messaged me an email that want to get on board that channel as well. Appreciate you very much. Hollywood Hotspur, in fact, here's one of them. He messaged me saying, can you get a ticket to the Bodo game? Little Birdie.
It's Hollywood Hotspur, our guy in